Hello and welcome to ETCIO TV. I'm Sneha Jha, editor of ETCIO, and with me today is Manish Kumar, market director for Thoughtworks. Hello, Manish. Thank you for joining us on the sidelines of Thoughtworks Digital Leaders Forum.
Thanks, Neha. Thanks for having me. And the Digital Leader Forum is our uh, marquee event where we are bringing all our customers, well-wishers, ecosystem partners, and we are going to share our thought leadership on AI and next gen of AI.
Absolutely. And Thoughtworks has a huge ecosystem in India, especially in the BFSI segment. Right. Manish, when we talk about digital transformation, Indian organizations are at different levels of digital maturity when it comes to their technology platforms and also their processes. Also, the Indian organizations have different and varying levels of digital dexterity across their workforce. So, business leaders are dealing with a twin pronged challenge. One is around the digital maturity gaps within their organization, and the other is an intense competition for top notch tech talent. So, how does ThoughtWorks help business leaders transform both these challenges into strategic advantages?
I think there's indeed a gap between the digital leader and the laggards. And that challenge also provides us the opportunity to pivot. ThoughtWorks brings its global-based engineering practices and leadership in AI and combines that with design, strategy, and then builds a blueprint and roadmap for organizations. And then that helps to build technology for changing business and technology environment. So that's how we bridge the gap between the leaders and the laggards. And to your second question about talent, so of course there are leaders and there are laggards, and there is a huge demand for the talent, and that at the same time is scarcity. When ThoughtWorks comes and builds solutions, it just doesn't build solution, but it embeds its practices with the organization, and that builds the capability in the organization, and that also acts as a magnet for the rest of the talent to work in a company who embeds world-class practices on tech in their organization. So that's how we see it.
Right. So, Manish, you made a cursory mention to the global strengths of ThoughtWorks. Now, I'd like to dig deeper into this. When we talk about India, it's a very unique market. In many ways, it's a case study in contrast. So, how are you combining these global strength that ThoughtWorks has, and how are you combining it with the local market insights to serve a market like India, which is very diverse, and the scale at which it operates. So, how are you doing this, combining the global strengths along with the local insights to deliver solutions at scale and for the diversity that India has?
So ThoughtWorks is famous for building paradigm shifts through technology. For example, microservices is thing which ThoughtWorks pioneered to build cloud native at scale digital platforms. Similarly, data mesh is another paradigm which we brought to build modern data engineering. Now, we bring the same pioneering technology and paradigms, but in a very different context. So, for example, if you talk about India, it's a diverse country, right? It's multilingual. There's a rural and urban divide, and there are a number of consumers at different stages, and there's a youth, which is the biggest consumer of biggest number of customers there. So we need to apply the same things into a population scale in as diverse a country as India, with multilingual diversity in income levels and hence different customer segments. And that brings a different challenge, but with that context, we are able to build solutions in lending, BFSI, digital public goods we have built, and numerous other places where there's a need to work with the diverse customers, but also under the very strict regulatory environment, which have been put to bring the fairness, responsiveness, and sustainability. So I think we bring that context to build the great solutions as we build in other countries.
Right. While you explain this, I'm curious to know if you can share some examples where you've combined these regional and cultural needs to provide, value, to drive value significantly. Can you share some examples?
So some of the examples are we have built, let's say, MSME solutions, which are required to build the rural and urban divide. And if you look at India, it's, as I was talking, it is multilingual. It needs to, the solution needs to work in the hinterlands of India, in a low bandwidth environments. It needs to work in situations where people are not as literate on digital and many other things. So it should be multimodal in many ways. And so you have to have different form. You have to have different interfaces. You need to have a different need for responsiveness. There's a need of being very simple, so that a person who doesn't understand English or couldn't read and write should be able to interact with that technology and get the same value as someone who uh, has all the necessary gadgets and literacy around digital, etc. So I think that's how we have used this.
Right. Manish, in leading market functions, what are some of those KPIs and success metrics that you track beyond revenue growth to assess the organizational health and also the long term impact?
See, revenue is a very, very powerful metrics, but that's not the only metrics.
Correct.
There are equally important metrics which we track. So if you look at that, if you are going to look at what impact we are making on our customers in the long term, we look at CSAT and NPS as some of those scores, and it's also measures the depth of our relationship with our customers. We also look at, because we are leading tech company as well, as we see the impact of our thought leadership and how much people are reading our things, how many people are attending, or what is the impact generally, how many people are talking about that through thought leadership. So that's another way of looking at this. Of course, there are other things which we also want to measure, which is equally important for our business growth, is what our employees are talking about ourselves. Because if you have a solid customer impact and your employees are also saying in a similar manner, then you know that you are creating impact, but you are resilient as well.
Correct.
So we combine both the metrics, and there are many more which we track, but those are the key ones.
Right. Manish, looking ahead, how do you see the customer expectations evolving? Where do you see the clients demanding things differently in terms of speed, in terms of agility, trust, sustainability, also transparency and AI readiness?
Yeah. So I think it's important. We are at the cusp of AI revolution. I think it was talk sometimes back, but now we are riding the wave. The more scalable solutions are getting created, and with that, that the speed, trust, and responsiveness are all the basic things which people you expect there to be in the solutions, right? Beyond that, you have to have experience, and the way we are seeing that from customers' lens is that, as I was talking about, that they want anything which you build needs to be context aware. You're not going to ask 10 people and return that context in minutes or hours. It need to be instantaneous, right? Then people are multilingual. Is our country is there multilingual, but people shift from English to Hindi to Bengali in the same conversation, right? So that's the ability to do that. The multimodal thing, I think at some point of time, maybe you will not be using app. And right now we are doing with WhatsApp and many other things, but multimodal is going to be another thing which is important. But one more aspect which has opened up with the advent of AI is ability to modernize the legacy platforms, technology, knowledge, because AI has suddenly opened up a lot of avenues to do that. So, for example, you have kind of accumulated hundreds of years of knowledge into your legacy systems, maybe documents and many other things. AI will now allow you to reverse engineer that and help you to forward engineer. And so what was not possible earlier uh, with the legacy, because you don't understand it, people who have created it have left. So you can unearth that and build a, so there's a whole thing about legacy modernization coming, which we were not thinking will be possible maybe, let's say, 10 years back. So that's the aspect which is coming. I think the important from a customer point of view, that while everything which is happening, they are looking at fairness. For example, they are looking at fairness in pricing, how those decisions are made, right? A fairness of if you are a mobility company, then customers are looking for, are you taking me to the through the shortest distance, or are you charging me more, let's say, for example. Then there will be transparency about how you are making a decision about something, right? So people want the explanation of that. So these things are happening, and at the same time, when you are doing all those things, brand safety becomes very, very important for our customers who are building tech for the. So I think those things are happening. There are paradigm shifts which are happening, but there are also the guardrails which needs to come to help that paradigm shift happen in a safe space. So that's the
Right.
change which is happening.
Right, as you said, with AI governance, bias mitigation, also explainability and transparency and trust, especially digital trust, become very critical. So these are the shifts that are coming in the client expectations. Thank you so much, Manish. In the time that we had, you spoke about ThoughtWorks engineering strengths. You also spoke about the innovation paradigm and how it's shifting, the unique value proposition that ThoughtWorks brings to a market as unique and diverse as India, and also the changing customer expectations. Thank you so much for your time and your insights.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
are at a very exciting time.
Absolutely, we are. Thank you so
Bye.
much. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Manish Kumar, Market Director for ThoughtWorks, as much as I did. Thank you for watching.